welcome to episode 39 of your CYSA Plus Prepcast. Today, we will explore how to analyze emails for signs of phishing and spoofing, which are two of the most commonly used methods attackers rely on to target organizations and individuals. Phishing and spoofing form the foundation of countless cybersecurity incidents, including credential theft, malware delivery, and business email compromise. Cybersecurity analysts must be equipped with the skills needed to inspect emails for hidden threats, verify sender legitimacy, and spot suspicious behaviors. Mastering email analysis for phishing and spoofing detection is essential not only for protecting users and systems, but also for demonstrating exam readiness and real-world incident response capability. In this episode, we will break down the essential components of email analysis and walk through key techniques used by analysts to defend against email-based threats. To begin, it is important to clearly define the two core threats we are focusing on. Phishing is a technique in which attackers send fraudulent emails to deceive recipients into providing sensitive information such as usernames, passwords, or banking credentials. These emails are crafted to appear as though they come from legitimate sources. Spoofing, on the other hand, involves falsifying parts of the email, such as the sender address or the originating mail server, to make it seem like the message is from a trusted domain. Phishing often uses spoofing as a component of the overall deception, but each presents distinct indicators that analysts must learn to identify during the investigation process. A foundational step in email analysis is inspecting the email header. This section contains detailed routing information about the path the email took from sender to recipient. Analysts use the header to determine whether the email came from an expected source or whether it contains anomalies suggesting manipulation. Key fields such as from, reply to, return path, and received contain valuable metadata. When these fields do not match, when the routing appears suspicious, or when the mail server does not align with the sender's domain, the email should be considered suspect. These inconsistencies often serve as the earliest indicators of spoofing attempts. Header analysis is only one part of a broader authentication process. Analysts also rely heavily on three core email authentication mechanisms. These are sender policy framework, domain keys identified mail, and domain-based message authentication reporting and conformance. These authentication protocols help verify that an email was sent by an authorized mail server and has not been tampered with during transit. Each of these protocols adds a layer of defense that analysts can examine for signs of forgery or abuse. Sender Policy Framework operates by allowing domain owners to publish a list of authorized mail servers in their DNS records. When an email is received, the recipient's mail server checks whether the sending IP address is authorized to send on behalf of the domain. If the IP address is not listed, the Sender Policy Framework validation fails. Analysts reviewing an email with an SPF failure may interpret this as a potential spoofing attempt. A failure does not always indicate malicious intent, but it significantly raises the likelihood that the message is fraudulent. Domain keys identified mail adds another layer of trust. By digitally signing messages with a cryptographic key, the signature is placed in the email header, and receiving servers can verify the signature against the public key listed in the sender's DNS records. If the signature is missing or invalid, this can indicate that the message has been altered in transit or was not sent from an authorized source. Invalid DKIN signatures are common in phishing emails, particularly those that attempt to impersonate financial institutions or internal departments. The third major authentication mechanism, domain-based message authentication reporting and conformance, builds on SPF and DKIM by providing domain owners with control over how receiving servers should handle messages that fail authentication checks. DMARC policies instruct the recipient to reject, quarantine, or allow the email and provide reporting capabilities that give insight into who is sending messages on behalf of a domain. Analysts use DMARC reports to detect widespread spoofing campaigns or unauthorized use of legitimate domains. Strong DMARC policies reduce the number of phishing emails that reach user inboxes and help enforce consistent sender authentication practices. After authentication and header checks, analysts turn their attention to the body of the email. Phishing emails often contain subtle or overt clues designed to lure the recipient into taking action. These indicators may include unusual greetings, urgent requests, misspellings, unexpected attachments, or links requesting credential input. The tone of the message might suggest that failure to act immediately will result in account suspension or missed opportunity. Analysts must be familiar with these psychological manipulation techniques to identify phishing emails based on content as well as technical signals. Link analysis is a critical part of email content inspection. Analysts inspect embedded URLs to determine whether they match the apparent destination. A common tactic used in phishing involves displaying a legitimate-looking link while actually pointing to a malicious domain. Analysts hover over links, decode shortened URLs, and sometimes use secure environments to visit the site in question. Tools may also be used to check URLs against threat intelligence databases or to analyze the structure of the URL for known phishing patterns. Redirect chains, URL encoding, and suspicious top-level domains are all red flags during this process. Attachments are another common delivery mechanism for phishing and malware. Attackers may include malicious attachments disguised as invoices, resumes, or other expected documents. Analysts must inspect these attachments carefully. Tools such as antivirus scanners, static analysis platforms, and sandbox environments are used to examine files without endangering production systems. Executional files, macro-laden documents, and compressed archives containing obfuscated scripts are typical warning signs. Even when attachments appear harmless, they can be embedded with payloads designed to exploit user trust or software vulnerabilities. Analysts must also assess the broader context surrounding the suspicious email. Is the message part of a larger campaign? Have similar messages been reported by other users? Is the sender address associated with known malicious infrastructure? By correlating this data with threat intelligence feeds and historical incident data, analysts can better assess the credibility of the email. This step is especially important when trying to determine whether the incident is an isolated case or part of a coordinated phishing campaign targeting the organization or its partners. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyber-author.me. Also, there are other prepasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Analysts frequently enhance email analysis by incorporating external threat intelligence and historical data from past incidents. Threat intelligence feeds provide reputation scores for domains, IP addresses, and email addresses commonly associated with phishing campaigns or known threat actor infrastructure. By comparing the metadata of a suspicious email with these feeds, analysts can quickly determine whether the sender has a history of malicious behavior. This cross-referencing helps prioritize which emails need immediate attention and which ones can be classified as benign. Integrating threat intelligence into the analysis process also supports automated detection and continuous improvement in filtering rules. User reports emails serve as another valuable data point. Employees often encounter phishing attempts before security tools detect them. When users report suspicious messages, analysts gain early visibility into potential campaigns and can begin investigations quickly. Monitoring these reports also helps identify training opportunities and areas where user awareness may need reinforcement. Behavioral data from users complements technical indicators and allows analysts to assess the human layer of the organization's defense more effectively. To handle phishing at scale, analysts rely on specialized security tools such as secure email gateways, sandbox environments, and automated email monitoring platforms. These tools help detect and block known threats before they reach users, inspect suspicious attachments and URLs, and monitor patterns of malicious activity. Secure email gateways enforce policy rules, quarantine suspect messages, and perform deep content analysis. Sandboxing environments allow attachments or links to be opened in isolated virtual machines, revealing behaviors like network calls, file modifications, or system-level changes that indicate malware presence. Email log analysis further supports incident investigation and response. By reviewing mail server logs, analysts can track when a malicious message entered the system, who received it, whether it was opened, and whether any embedded links or attachments were accessed. This data enables analysts to determine the scope of exposure, assess potential compromise, and identify users who may need follow-up guidance or system inspection. Logs also help confirm whether additional emails with similar characteristics were sent in parallel, indicating a broader campaign. A specific category of phishing known as business email compromise requires even more nuanced analysis. Business email compromise, or BEC, typically involves impersonation of executives, finance personnel, or vendors to trick recipients into making unauthorized wire transfers or revealing sensitive internal information. These emails often lack obvious malicious links or attachments, making them harder to detect. Analysts reviewing BEC attempts must scrutinize sender details, writing style, timing, and contextual accuracy to identify subtle clues that point to impersonation or fraud. To further strengthen defenses, analysts configure security solutions to automatically check embedded links and domains against URL reputation databases, domain blacklists, and IP intelligence sources. If a link or IP is known to host malware or has been used in prior attacks, the message can be flagged, blocked, or sent to quarantine. Integrating these checks into the email filtering process allows for proactive prevention, reducing the number of phishing messages that reach users and accelerating the investigation process when threats are identified. Training users to recognize phishing is a key part of any email defense strategy. Analysts regularly conduct phishing simulations that mimic real-world attack techniques. These simulations test employee response, measure susceptibility to different types of phishing content, and reveal which departments or roles are at higher risk. Based on these results, organizations can tailor awareness campaigns to address specific gaps in knowledge or behavior. Training results should be tracked over time to evaluate progress and adjust future simulation scenarios accordingly. Every phishing or spoofing incident should be thoroughly documented. This includes capturing screenshots of the email, header analysis, authentication results, content inspection findings, user reports, and actions taken during containment and remediation. Well-maintained records support regulatory reporting, internal reviews, and future training. Incident documentation also enables faster triage of similar messages in the future, as analysts can refer to prior cases for comparison and investigation techniques. Collaboration is essential when defending against email-based threats. Analysts must work closely with email administrators, system owners, help desk personnel, and threat intelligence teams. Sharing findings across these groups improves visibility, enhances detection rules, and fosters a collective response effort. For example, analysts may alert system administrators to adjust mail server configurations while simultaneously coordinating with intelligence analysts to block malicious senders across the enterprise. These collaborative efforts extend beyond the security team and create a more agile and informed organization. Lastly, continuous refinement is critical. Email threats evolve constantly and attackers adapt quickly to bypass existing defenses. Analysts must review and improve filtering rules, update authentication configurations, evaluate the effectiveness of current detection tools, and reinforce user education programs. Lessons from past phishing incidents should inform policy adjustments and detection strategies. This cycle of analysis, response, documentation, and refinement ensures the organization remains resilient in the face of increasingly sophisticated email-based attacks. To summarize episode 39, email analysis for phishing and spoofing is a core competency for modern cybersecurity professionals. From header inspections and authentication checks to content reviews and collaborative investigations, each part of the process plays a role in detecting and responding to one of the most common threats organizations face today. Mastering these skills not only supports your preparation for the CYSA Plus certification, but it also directly improves your ability to protect users, data, and infrastructure from deception-based attacks. Thanks for listening. To learn more about cybersecurity, please visit baremetalcyber.com. There you will find best-selling books, videos, and even more free cybersecurity training courses. Please subscribe to the Prepcast and our various podcasts. And thanks for listening.